Hey guys,
Hey guys, this is Michelle,
and this is Mark.
and this is Mark and Michelle.
That's right. And we are going to talk tonight about another milestone for us.
Yes.
And
it's pretty exciting for me.
It
I don't
is.
know if he's excited.
Well, I am, but I'll be more excited when we do more of it. And no, we're not talking about sex. But anyway, I don't know how many of your autistic loved ones are uncoordinated because of their autism. They have bad balance. They're not graceful in their movements. They're awkward in their gait. I was awkward in how I walked.
You tripped a lot.
I tripped a lot.
Did you fall?
Yeah, I fell quite a bit too. And I wasn't good at sports because I was uncoordinated physically. And Taj, how's it going? And we're talking about uncoordination, being uncoordinated and stuff like that when you're autistic. And because we had a milestone happen for us today. So, so I had trouble. I always had to worry about twisting my ankle when I run. I still have that trouble a little bit. And my ankle will just turn. It's usually my right ankle. In fact, I think it's always been my right ankle. And it just turns and I fall over and twist it. And sometimes I twist it really bad. Most of the time I don't, but that happens. And so that's part of my being uncoordinated as an autistic person. And so today, Michelle was walking into our living room.
Mark had put on a 70s playlist.
Yeah, Captain and Tennille and the Mamas and the Papas, yeah, and different things. And I don't remember what the particular song was.
I think it might have been Muskrat Love.
Might have been, but
it may have been Carly Simon. You think
you're so vain.
You're so vain. You think this song is about you,
right? And so, which I didn't actually understand that song until today. The fact that it was being ironic, but she was dancing into the living room, and I got up and grabbed her, and I started dancing with her too, and we danced for the first time without me running into her.
It was really
and without me stepping on her feet, and quite easily being able to follow her movements at the same time. I was still a little bit uncoordinated in the feet department.
We hit knees a couple times.
We did, and but other than that,
actually,
this was a major milestone.
Yeah.
Because I've just always been so uncoordinated, and that directly is directly attributed to the autism. I still don't have a good sense of balance, so I have to be careful when I bend over to pick something up. But
it might change.
It might change.
The dance this morning.
Yeah, and that will give it motivation to change. And but what I've realized is, I think because of the neurological damage involved with bacterial and viral infections in autism, I think the virus has damaged the nerves so bad that most of us who are autistic are pretty uncoordinated and poorly balanced and that type of thing. And so as examples, Michelle and I lived in St. Louis back in 95, 96, and part of 1997. Well, one of those winters, and I think it was the winter of 96, 97, I was walking to work, and it was icy, and I turned my ankle and slipped on the ice, and the right ankle. Well, I walked another 1.5 miles on that ankle, got to work, was in pain, did my job, was on it all day, and then left and walked 1.5 miles back to the bus stop. Then caught the bus for 19 miles home. And then, because the buses weren't running from the airport, I had to walk another mile or so in the ice on that ankle.
That was before cell phones, guys.
That was before cell phones.
He could have called now. He would have called.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I probably could have called then, like at the airport. I just didn't think of it. And so I walked about 4 miles and on that ankle. And
so we had one car, just to clarify.
Yeah, we had one car, but it was snowing. And in St. Louis, when it snows, it snows. And in fact, that was the year where snow was 3 feet of snow was on the ground for 5 weeks straight. And I got over my liking for snow.
And we're talking about moving back there.
Yeah.
Are we going to be okay?
Yeah, we're going to be fine. But my uncoordination, discoordination, whatever you want to call it, clumsiness. There you go. I was quite that, and I got made fun of it quite a bit, and so caused me to twist my ankle and be off that ankle for a week at work. And somebody else had to run my department, the cafe. Well, I sat there and sorted bargain books, and which wasn't boring, but I was off of my ankle, and I felt like I wasn't doing enough. But anyway, in gym, I was never good in gym because I was always uncoordinated. I could never see, depth perception was messed up too, I think, because of my autism. And so trying to make a shot in basketball, horrible. I'd missed the backstop totally. And baseball, I played t-ball when I was a kid. And in case you don't know what that is, the baseball goes on top of a little stand at home plate and you swing on it.
Is it an actual baseball or is it like a wiffle ball kind of thing?
No, it's a baseball, maybe a slightly lighter one. But so I would swing at that, but I would always miss the entire thing a few times before So in catching a ball, forget it, I couldn't even see it. And so I was always uncoordinated. I wasn't good at video games because I didn't have the hand-eye coordination to be good at them. And so all that physical coordination caused me a lot of trouble. So one time in Atlanta, and I'm going to let you finish that story, the one about going to the salsa club and... But not about the part about the
I got
Coke
you.
Okay.
I got you.
Okay.
I loved dancing before I met Mark.
And her boyfriends apparently could dance.
Yeah, I danced. I went dancing a lot. And I wanted to go dancing, and I'd been married to you. Was that like 97 or 98? I missed dancing really a lot.
Late 90s, early 2000s, very early 2000s.
And I said, let's go to a club. We had no idea what we were doing. And I don't even know how we picked the one we went to.
No, we just picked one. And it was a salsa club. So
was it a salsa club?
So very few people there spoke English.
We were weird.
We were. And so we go.
We mostly just stood around.
Well, we did, but we get out on the floor. But see, she'd start dancing, and I'm like, I don't really know what I'm doing here, I'm thinking to myself. So I closed my eyes and just started moving body parts, hoping that when I opened my eyes, the whole room wasn't staring at me.
There were a lot of people in there. Do I remember that correctly?
Yeah, it was packed.
It was packed.
And there was a salsa contest going on in another room, and we went in there, and I don't think we lasted long, and we left. But I'll tell that part of the story.
Oh, you don't have to tell that.
And so, but had a little too much to drink and got sick. We'll say that. But Michelle was just rolling her eyes all the way home because she was so annoyed that I couldn't dance. Now, this was a good 14 years or 16 years before we knew I had autism too.
Yeah.
So, in fact, it was quite a few years before I even knew there was such a thing as autism.
Yeah.
To be honest. And so we got home and we hardly ever mentioned that again. For a few years.
It was taboo.
Yeah, because I was embarrassed.
He was. Yeah. He must have been really embarrassed as an Aspie to be embarrassed.
Well, when you get made fun of so much for being uncoordinated and clumsy and stuff like that, you don't want to talk about things that embarrass you.
I guess you were drinking to not be embarrassed.
Well, very possible. Never thought of that.
You
But
probably were.
but but it while I did my best, it was
I stretched him a bit too far.
that was plastic man. That was rubber band man. That's what she wanted me to be. But then some years, about 12 years later, 2008 or 2009, she and I were in St. Louis visiting a friend. Well, this friend of hers, her husband had an 80s band called the Retro Nerds.
They still exist.
They still exist. They're still around. They do good 80s stuff.
Yeah, it was fun.
And so we went to this. It was like a French style building, and like a barn, but it was very French looking. It was cool. And so the Retro Nerds were playing in there. There were people dancing. And me being Aspie I saw some women dancing. I looked at Michelle and I said, "Hey, is it all right if I go ask them to dance?" Now, if that's the look I got, I didn't notice it. But she did say, "Well, if you go dance with them, don't come back to me." And so I understood. Yeah, so I understood what she meant, and as don't go dance with them. I was like, okay. But we have a picture.
He wouldn't dance with me.
Right. Well, and again, I have no idea why I would have wanted to dance with them as opposed to you. But we actually have a picture of us from that night. I think it's on the website.
Yeah, I put it on the website.
Yeah, it's on the website. And two totally different people. Michelle's beaming a big, huge, wide smile because she's having a great time. And me, I'm just right. And yeah, that's how it looked. And so that was an interesting. I still remember that night. We had fun. I liked it, but dancing. See, I didn't understand boundaries, emotional boundaries, and I crossed those. But being uncoordinated, I would have been immediately embarrassed dancing with anyone else, including her. And but that's what I've had to live with. But then today, when she came dancing into the room, and I got up and just immediately started dancing with her, and we were in rhythm and in sync.
It was kind of sexy.
Well,
I was like, "Who is this?"
Well, and she got excited by that, and she thought it was really cool because, as she said, "Well, now I might have somebody to dance with." So and that was really cool. I thought because I had never been able to read her body movements well enough to be able to follow along, and so because we talked about learning ballroom dancing or some type of dancing throughout our whole marriage. Never done it, but only now would I probably be able to.
You would, right?
And that's really cool. And that may mean I'm getting more coordinated in other areas of my life that I don't know about. Mm-hmm. So
that happened today, guys.
Yeah, that was our milestone today.
Welcome to waking up from autism.
Yep. And
that'd be a good show too.
Welcome to waking up from autism.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we'll consider that. But anyway, what else did we want to talk about tonight? Anything?
It didn't lead to anything. Guys, we went to Tulsa for fun today.
We did.
Because I haven't left the house since
the end of May.
July. I went to Missouri in July.
You did.
For a few days.
So July, August, September. So for almost 3 straight months, she's been here.
In the house.
Working on our business stuff, working on all the products.
7 days a week.
Yep.
Trying to get books ready for you guys.
Exactly, and other things.
And so it was a great time. We had a great day.
Mm-hmm. It was excellent. We found a really cool bookstore.
Yep.
And I went to a pipe shop, my favorite pipe shop in all of everywhere.
All of everywhere.
To be honest.
Because he's been to one in New Orleans, a few in New Orleans.
Yeah, 2 or 3 in New Orleans. Only one. None of them were nearly as impressive as Ted's in Tulsa. Ted's in Tulsa has
some in Missouri.
Has some serious atmosphere. John Dangler's in St. Charles, Missouri had some atmosphere too.
Yeah.
And but so far Ted's has been the one that I've really enjoyed.
Yeah.
So
we went there. We ate at the river.
Yeah, at the Blue Rose Cafe and had some excellent fries. We watched the sun go down over the river. It's the Arkansas River through Tulsa, which is big enough for ships to come up, oddly enough. And but we had a good old
We
time.
met with a friend.
Yep, we did at Whole Foods.
Whole Foods.
And we had our dinner of pineapple and mixed melon and bananas and some really
good
peaches. So we had a medical medium compliant dinner and lunch, except there was, dinner was fries and there was a little, those had fat.
Those had fat.
But other than that, everything else is medical medium compliant.
And it was just great.
Yep.
And then we got home in time to tell you about our milestone.
Exactly. So
so you can download the book at www.healyourautism.com. You can also pre-order the new book called
Heal Your Autism's Do-It-Yourself Guide. Healing begins in your kitchen.
And that's telling you how we did it.
Right. You can pre-order that. That should be done within this next week.
Yeah, we're trying
if not before.
We're going to try to get it done tomorrow.
We are.
So what we're planning on doing is doing the bit that we've got almost done and plugging it in, and then making a second edition with another part that I had an idea for yesterday. So I can't have that done by this next week.
Right. So we've got that going on. Buried Alive is the first book, the free book, and you'll definitely want to download that and read it, and continue to do your celery juice, your heavy metal detox smoothie, and the lemon water. And we will be back tomorrow night with another episode of This is Mark and Michelle. All right, guys. See you tomorrow night.
Bye.